Welcome to Comfort Hammer number 2. I'm Echo Fang Grey Wolf, and this is going to be called Three Sides of a Coin. Hashtag, no hashtag. This is going to be called Three Sides of a Coin, and I'm going to bring up some shit about the former president. Alright? So, if you are a Trump supporter, before you get mad, before you leave the group, before you block me, first understand, I respect you. I understand, but you need to understand, I need to understand why you chose this man. But I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be real. And everything I'm going to say has merit to me and only me. But if you don't open up your eyes to see shit from the other side, then you're not going to understand. See, I understand why some people chose to follow Trump. Do I respect why they chose to follow him, or do I respect them? I'm going to say I respect them. I don't have to respect their idealism. I don't have to respect their reason, but I do have to respect them. Okay? So if you're a Trump supporter, from this point on in the video, you're going to be pissed off. But understand, I do respect you. I don't respect the ideology of no one believing that this man is racist. Alright? And I'm going to have people in the comments on this video, I'm sure. And that's fine. I'm not going to clap back. I'm not going to block you. It's a revolving door. Alright? If you choose to follow me, that's great. If you choose not to follow me because I don't support Trump, that's great. I can't get mad at you. It's social media, you know. But that works both ways. In the other video, my reminder video, I talked about three sides of a coin. So this is where we're picking up from that. There are three sides of a coin. There's heads, there's tails, and there's the center. So we're going to put it, heads is your truth, tails is my truth, the center is the truth. Alright? So, let us begin. First and foremost, my name is Echo Fang Grey Wolf. I am part black, I am part native, I am part white. Hi, my name is Echo Fang Grey Wolf. I am part native, I am part white, I am part black. Hi, I'm Echo Fang Grey Wolf. I am part white, part black, and part native. Did that make any sense to y'all that I did that 3 different ways? I'm sure it did not, but there's a reason why I did that. My government name is James Edward Williams Jr., but that doesn't change my heritage, which is part black, part native, and part white. And on some days, I feel more native than black, and I will never ever really be white. I had to accept that, but I also had to be told that by a lot of white people. Okay? So here's the thing. The white in me can relate to the white in white people. I can't really walk in their world. I can only walk halfway in their world and understand how half white people think. I'm sure you're thinking, what the fuck did you just say? How the fuck does that work? Well, here's how that works. I have ancestors who are white. I have white family members who are white. And some of them may have very well supported Trump. But see, here's where the minute difference comes in. It is because they are white and they are poor and they probably aren't educated and they probably don't understand what racism is. Because outside of being called an in-lover, they probably haven't really faced racism on a cellular level like most people who are black or brown. Because we face racism on every level and we have to strive to be better. We have to let y'all know that we are here and that we are not dirt under your feet. Understand that shit. Now, a lot of people just got mad and just left this group. Right there. Oh, we don't think y'all are dirt under your feet. You don't, do you? Stay. Enjoy the video. I'm gonna piss you off. I mentioned that 2 minutes ago. Now, here's some black people. I know there's some black people that support Trump. There's even some Asians who support Trump. Despite the fact that on live TV and at a live press conference, he literally told a Virginia reporter to go ask China. He literally, in a live broadcast, said there's a lot of nicknames going around for the coronavirus. The China virus, the Kung flu. He literally said that. Y'all can find that shit on CNN, NBC, ABC, all these damn press people that whatever the narrative is that they want, they press. But whatever their beliefs is that they want, that they press. Now, during The Apprentice, some of us watched it, some of us didn't. I knew about Donald Trump way before The Apprentice. I didn't think that he was racist until the Native American thing came up. I didn't confirm he was racist until the Central Park 5 thing came up. But see, here's that thing about people who aren't following him because he's racist. They're following him because he's put money in their wallet. See, I can respect that. Because any president that's going to put money in your wallet is probably the guy that you should go for. Unless the motherfucker is a racist. Alright? So if you're following Trump because he's putting money in your wallet, hey, I got you. I respect that shit. But be honest about that shit. Well, I'm not following him because he's a racist. I'm following him because he's putting money in my pocket. But I'm also willing to admit that the shit that comes out of his mouth is highly fucking racist. But none of you Trump supporters are saying that. Not the black ones, not the Asian ones, not the indigenous ones, not the white ones. None of you that I just mentioned, not the Hispanics, none of you are openly minded and willing to say that when he told the Chinese reporter, why don't you ask China? Now what if she was Japanese? But he said, why don't you ask China? Because a lot of people that's in this video right now watching this thing don't know the difference between Chinese, Japanese, or any other Asian culture. Because they all look the same, right? Yeah, exactly. Which means you're either following him because he's improving your wallet, or because he made it okay to be racist out in public. Because you know, there's a lot of people that's racist, but they're racist at home. Because not only being racist at home keeps you safe, it keeps you from getting your ass kicked. It keeps you from having somebody unalive you when you call them the N-word. Or if they're Asian, you call them the C-word. If they're Japanese, you call them the J-word. If they're Korean, you call them the G-word or the C-word. I'm not going to go into the derivatives. I already made one mistake today in one video using the H-word. So, being that y'all probably aren't old enough to know what those are, just go Google some racist slangs. You'll find them. Go watch some of those old Vietnam movies. You'll find them. And now I'm going to get real. Because he got a lot of goddamn Asian supporters. There was a thing, Chinese for Trump. That fucked me up. That literally fucked me up, especially after he told the Chinese reporter to go ask China. How dare y'all be Chinese and support this dude after he literally came down on one of your own? Now let's go back. Let's go way back to 1993. Back when little James was fresh out of high school. See, little James by now, in 1993, knows that he's part Native. You know why he knows he's part Native? Because for 3 years, working at Kegler's, some white fella that might have been going through some shit. He might not have been racist, but he was going through some shit. And you could tell he was going through some shit because every time he came to work, he always played I Got Friends in Low Places, Thunder Rose, Achy Breaky Heart, and the only country music that I really, really liked was Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee. But he played those songs until he ran out of money. 3 nights a week, every weekend, while I was working there. And every time he greeted me, even though my name tag had James Williams written on it. Hi, Chief. What's going on, Chief? How you doing, Chief? But I'm pretty sure that I chalked that up into him going through some shit. I not one time thought that he was a racist. But see, then the Donald Trump thing happened. Why does my casinos have to pay taxes but the natives don't? Why do the natives not have to pay taxes on their casinos? And these natives specifically don't look like natives to me. You guys can go find that video because it wasn't on CNN. In fact, I don't believe CNN came into existence until 1995, but I could be wrong. I don't have a problem being wrong. But that video right there got me thinking. Has this man always been like this and I just wasn't aware until he became the president? Yes! He has always been like that and I wasn't aware until he became the president. Even in The Apprentice, even though he hired black people, Kwame, I think that's what his name was, because technically he was from Africa, which doesn't legally make him black, it makes him African. That's a whole nother video. Then there was Omarosa, who is black, who he also fired from the White House before, I believe, he could even get through the second year of his term. He fired her black ass. And she outwardly admitted that she heard him use the N-word. But I'm sure you guys aren't going to find that video because you're not going to look for it. Alright? Let's not forget the press conferences of how many times he brought up coronavirus and called it anything but the coronavirus. But I'm sure you guys aren't going to look into that. You're just going to say that I'm gaslighting. Maybe I am. But if you find that video, am I gaslighting? Am I? Because I remember the Central Park 5. Even though I get the number wrong every time I make a video about it and call it Central Park 7. I remember the Central Park 5. And I remember this white man saying that I wish that I could hang those 5 men. Y'all don't remember that shit? Go watch the documentary. But yet y'all still don't want to believe that this man is a racist. Which goes back to that 3 sides to that coin. See what I'm saying? If you don't want to believe that Trump is a racist, I can't make you believe it. You're going to have to learn for yourself. The same thing like I tell everybody. You know, if you are following Trump because he's fattening your wallet and you are willing to let that racist shit come out of his mouth and you are going to accept it, I got you. I'm with you. But you got to be willing to come with me and admit that this dude is a racist. Let me plug my shit back up. Something's going wrong. So. And before you say it, I'll say it for you. I know that Biden isn't a saint. But I also know that he is the lesser of 2 evils. And sometimes the lesser of 2 evils ain't always the best. Because as I've said before in plenty of videos, that I honestly was going to vote for Elizabeth Warren. Like, literally, I was going to vote for Elizabeth Warren. When she conceded, Bernie conceded, and Pete conceded, and Andrew Yang conceded because his wife was getting death threats. By the way, he and his wife are both Chinese. But, you know, y'all probably don't want to take that to that level, right? Of course you don't, because you know why? As I said in a lot of TikToks, no one wants to see their heroes lose a fight. No one. Not you, not me, not Jesus. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't see these things as racist, you have been sheltered from a lot of shit. I'm 48. So let me tell you about racism really fucking fast. Let me tell you about reverse racism really fucking fast. Just in case you missed my last 3 videos. Reverse racism. When a person of color who looks like you don't like you because your skin is lighter than theirs, or your skin is darker than theirs, but you're both legally black people. By governmental rules, if your birth certificate says you are a Negro, then you are legally a black American. Okay? And I have had the worst reverse racism in my entire life from black people because I'm part white and part native and I don't fit the black narrative. And all my life I tried to be black. I've tried to cuss like blacks. I tried to walk like blacks. I tried to talk like blacks. Shit didn't work. I am me. I am an amalgamation of all 3 of my heritages. But as an actor right now, I'm billing myself out as a Native American because being mixed has not worked for 21 years. This is my 21 year that I am in acting. I've come too far to quit. It's make it or die. Period. But I have to build myself out as a Native because I don't look black enough. And you know what? Black people have told me, you don't look black enough. What are you mixed with? Oh, you might be mixed with one of those Chinese guys. So yeah, I've gotten that. Are you Filipino? Are you Mexican? Yeah, I've gotten that. I've had a white teacher from Spain say in front of an entire classroom that she's never met a Mexican that can't speak Spanish. And me at the time, not knowing that Mexicans were also native, I let her know real quick. I said, first and foremost, I'm not a Mexican. I am part Native American, and that being Cherokee Indian, and you need to get some culture. So, again, I apparently needed culture too, because I did find out that Mexicans are also Native Americans. Alright? So, if you were anywhere from that bottom part of Texas, all the way down to South America, and to the tip of South America, you're Native. Period. But I'm sure you guys aren't thinking like that when you see this face. But for people who don't follow me and don't know, most motherfuckers have thought that I was Mexican. Even Mexicans thought that I was Mexican. I had a car accident with some Mexicans that slammed into the back of me and started speaking Spanish. I said, dude, I'm not Mexican. He's like, no. I was like, no, I'm not Mexican, dude. I'm not Mexican. Not Mexican at all. But Mexicans are also Native. Understand that shit. Now, moving on. Other side of that coin. If you aren't following Donald Trump because he is a racist, we peoples, we straight peoples, because we see the fucking truth. And don't hit me with, oh, those are deep fakes. Let me explain to you one more time. In 1993, there were no deep fakes. In 1997 or 8, whenever the Central Park 5 happened, there were no deep fakes. You could doctor certain videos, but you couldn't doctor everything. So there were no deep fakes when he said, I wanted those 5 black men hung. But I'm sure the blacks that are supporting Trump failed to see that. They failed to understand, and you know why? Because I say this a lot, because it's true, and I'm sorry that I have to say it again. Black people don't want other black people to succeed. That's a fucking problem. And this has been how everybody who is of color have been held down by divide and conquer. Oh, well, your skin's lighter than my skin, so I gotta fuck your shit up and make sure that you don't succeed. Or your skin's darker than my skin, so I gotta fuck your shit up to make sure you don't succeed. This color wheel thing spans colors, because there's light-skinned natives and dark-skinned natives that are also fighting amongst each other. You see this divide and conquer shit? See, white people don't have that issue. But black people and Asian people and natives have that issue. And Spanish people, oh, well, you're Mexican, so you're not as Hispanic as me. Or I'm Mexican and you're Hispanic, so you're not really Latino. Because that's like Mexicano, okay? But this is how we as people have been bred and believe, and this is why we can't get anywhere. But yet you have Latins who support Trump, and yet Trump specifically said that people who were coming from Mexico were a bunch of drug dealers, murderers, and rapists. But I'm sure all the Trump supporters who are of Mexican and Latin descent forgot that shit, right? Let that shit been said by Obama, and everybody would remember that shit. Everybody and their mama. Oh, remember that time that Obama did this? Yeah. I remember that time that they sent all those black people back, and that was Obama. Okay? So he's not off the hook either. Now, I remember that shit. I remember the one time that whatever president was in charge and Elian Gonzalez got to stay, but everybody else on the boat didn't get to stay. And they were not black. But whatever president was, well, he felt some kind of way about Elian Gonzalez. But the same people that was with Elian Gonzalez was the same race, sent their asses back. So none of the presidents are saints for doing shit like that. But y'all don't seem to think that it's okay for a reporter who is of Chinese descent to be told, why don't you ask China? But that's not racist, right? But she's Chinese, so that's not racist, right? Of course it's not. What about all the other racist stuff that has been said that has flown out of his mouth? Oh, I have one. I'm good. I can give you what happened right smack dead here in Charlottesville. We lost a young lady named Heather Heyer. Her life was taken from her by a fucking kid who wanted to be a fucking damn martyr to the cause of white supremacy. And now Mr. Fields will never ever see another damn day of freedom. Period. Because he thought that he was doing something. He fucked up a ton of black people with his car and killed one white lady who was standing with black people in solidarity to stop racism and shit. But our illustrious president at the time comes in and says there were good people on both sides. Now, here's how this works. I was here, at home, when that was going down. the entire city of Charlottesville was told, we are going to have any kind of everything to avoid people from going down there. To make sure that people weren't going to go down there, they were opening up shops and discounts and sales. They were doing all kinds of shit to prevent that shit from happening. Here's the thing about America. You have the right to pretty much do whatever the fuck you want as long as it's legal and as long as you're not killing anybody. The bulk of this city, instead of going to these city activities, to do these city things that the city provided for us, they decided they're going to go down to Mr. Kessler's fucking racist riot and let their voices be heard. Mr. Fields, a young kid, barely 20-something years old enough to drive, old enough to know better, decides he wants to gun his goddamn car through a pile of people because of the color of their skin. And our president gets on TV and says there are good people on both sides. I guess he forgot about the night before when they walked through here and said something about, we won't let Jews replace us. Guess y'all forgot about that, right? And he's going to talk about there were good people on both sides. Yeah, none of the good people had any casualties except for Mr. Fields and his freedom. But there were good people on both sides. And so, see, I don't support Donald Trump. Because from where I stand, because of the color of my skin, he's a bona fide fucking racist. If you are Asian and you were supporting Trump, you apparently must have missed that part about when he started calling it the Chinese virus. You apparently have missed the people who have been attacked by racist-ass blacks and racist-ass whites because they support Trump and he's talking about it being the Kung Flu or the China virus. So if they see somebody who remotely looks Chinese, they fuck them up. So far, no Hispanics, to my knowledge, that has come across the news, have attacked anyone Asian. The two primary races that have been attacking Asian people, who also don't know the difference between a Filipino and a Chinese person, have been whites and blacks. And most of them have been Trump supporters. And no matter how you try to declassify, oh, they weren't really Trump supporters. They were somebody who was just trying to do the things to make the Proud Boys and everybody else look bad. But when we say that shit about those Black Lives Matter motherfuckers, we're guilty too, right? Of course we are. Because they weren't Black Lives Matter movement, they were plants. See how it works both ways? If the Black Lives Matter movement people were plants, then I guess I could say that those guys that were attacking Asian people who were white and black and probably not Trump supporters were just plants. Why don't you tell that to the Filipino man who got cut from here to here on the bus? Why don't you tell it to the Chinese lady who got beat up by 4 black girls on the bus up in New York? Why don't you tell it to the 6 Chinese ladies that TikTok flagged my video for defending them when the bald-headed black Mr. Clean guy decided to go over there and fuck with them because they were Chinese. But they weren't even Chinese. I believe those 6 girls was like a mixture of Korean and Japanese. But hey, they were doing an animated thing and this brother decided, hey, I'm gonna go fuck with these bitches. In the city of Boston. Yeah, I remember you, Mr. Clean. I don't know your name, but you're a dick. Now, had those girls had some men around, this dude would not have been that fucking bold just because he's cut like a fucking brick house to go and pick on these women. Why he wouldn't do that when there were men around? Because he ain't shit. Now, the girls that beat up the Asian woman on the bus. What about the man who shoved the Asian man so hard he flew across the thing? What about the man who shoved the Asian woman who flew across the thing? They were random attacks, right? Yeah, they were random hate crimes. What about the white dude who decided to shoot up 3 or 4 or 5? It was 3. Goddamn massage parlors, killing 6 people who were all of Asian ethnicity. But he had a mental issue. But when a black person does it and we have mental issues, we go to prison. They go to treatment. But I'm sure you guys didn't take that as it being racist, right? What about the black man that was beating the shit out of an Asian man with a stick while he was trying to collect cans for his family so he could support his family out in San Francisco? I was pissed the fuck off. And all the black people just sat right there and watched that shit. Did nothing. Got the Chinaman crying. Oh, they're filming. Look, he's crying. He's crying. But I'm sure you guys are going to say that those black guys weren't racist towards Chinese either. But here's the thing. They weren't doing that shit before the president started calling it the Chinese virus. And yeah, there has been tension between the black and brown community for a very long time. But those were isolated incidences. Not super isolated, but isolated enough that you barely ever heard about that shit. But as soon as Trump started hollering about the Chinese virus, these attacks on Asians have been off the motherfucking chart. Go ahead, deny it. Go ahead and say shit in the comments, but go ahead and go find the videos. And then go back to 1988 and 89, and then go back to the riots. Because that's about the only time you're going to hear about Koreans being locked in their apartment to save themselves from black rioters because of the Rodney King ass whooping. Alright? Go back to that, because that had nothing to do with Trump. But that's still racist. Those blacks were still racist toward those Asians. But they were racist because an Asian woman killed a black child. Understand? That had nothing to do with Trump. But it was still a case of racism because this one Asian woman did not represent all of Asia. But blacks didn't see it that way when they were doing this shit, smashing up Korean stores and shit. Because that woman happened to be Korean, who happened to kill a young black child. Now, we don't know what the black family side was, and most people didn't give a shit when the blacks started fucking shit up. But I'm sure you're not going to think that that's racist, right? What, you guys thought I was just going to be on Trump about this shit? No, racism is racism, regardless of what the color of your skin is. And when it comes to Trump and you're Asian and you're supporting him, he just hasn't gotten to your Asian yet. But if you walked up to him and asked him if he knew if you were Vietnamese, Korean, or Japanese, he probably wouldn't be able to tell you. And guess what? Neither can I. But that does not give me the right to tell you to go ask China. That does not give me the right to call you the G word, the C word, the J word. It does not give me the right to call you the WB. Let me spell that out for you. W-E-T-B-A-C-K. Okay? Because yes, Mexicans and Asians have been called W-E-T-B-A-C-K. So yeah, and G-O-O-K, I think is how it's spelled, or C-H-I-N-K, or J-A-P. I've spelled all these derivatives. N-I-G-G-E-R, N-I-G-G-A-R, H-O-N-K-Y, or H-O-N-K-Y-E, or C-R-A-C-K-E-R. So yeah, all those are racist shit. But if you're a Trump supporter, and you're only following him after your wallet, I can respect that. Because that's your wallet. You know, that doesn't reflect you. It doesn't really reflect how you feel towards someone of a different race. But if you are following him because it affects your wallet, but you are in agreement that everything he says is right, even when it's racist, that's when I have a fucking problem. That's when I'm like, no. He just hasn't gotten to you yet. And especially for black people. If you're black and you're supporting Trump, I can't respect you because of the Central Park 5. Because you don't want to hear about the Central Park 5. You don't care about the Central Park 5. That's like me believing that OJ was innocent. I'm not going to say OJ wasn't innocent, but I am going to say this. As a martial artist, and OJ's a big guy, and Ron Goldman was supposed to be a martial artist. And no disrespect to Ron and Nicole, but where was the screams? How did no one hear this happen? Did he break Ron Goldman's neck first and then get her? Because that's the only way that shit's gonna happen. You're gonna have to come up behind me. Like if somebody opened up this door and slit my throat from the back while recording, you would see that. You would hear that if two people are getting slaughtered. So I'm not gonna say he's guilty. He might know what fucking actually happened. He may have set that shit up. But I can't say he's completely innocent either. But I'm not an OJ fan. See how I did that? Honestly, true to God, I don't really give a flying fuck if he did it or not because it doesn't affect me. it does affect his children, which I am mad that the children have to be victimized over and over again because their daddy may have killed their mom. That's some shit they gotta live with for the rest of their fucking life. Did our dad kill our mom? We don't look at shit like that, do we? Because it doesn't affect us directly. But as the great Dr. Martin Luther King said, what doesn't affect you directly will affect you indirectly at some point in your life. And this is why I said, I can be friends with a Trump supporter. If you're supporting him for the fact that he brings money to your wallet. If you are supporting him and it's all due to the fact that he's a racist and you think it's okay to be a racist, then hell no. I can't support that shit because I've been the victim of racism. And this is the thing that you guys don't understand. Whether you are black or whether you are Asian or Hispanic and you are supporting a racist. I don't understand why you can't understand it, but here's how this works. I'm going to tell you what I get from this, and then I'm going to end the video. What I get from this is, one, all the ethnicities that I just named and all the people who have supported him have, one, never been the victims of racism, or you don't know anybody who's been the victim of racism, or you're just blind following the blind. That's pretty much it. I have been the victim of racism. From blacks, from natives, from whites. Haven't had any problems with Asians. Never really had any problems with Asians. Never been the victim of racism from Asians outside of curiosity. What are you mixed with? What are you mixed with? That's it. None of them have ever come up to me and say, hey, half-breed, unless I put it in the script. You know, because I have had films with a couple of Asian guys, you know, and we kept it as peaceful as possible with no racism, playing a guy who's half Chinese, half native, half black, and I had a Chinese half-brother who was full Chinese because my father was supposed to be Chinese. Anyway, shout out to Adrian Cow, by the way, wherever you are, brother. The people who are Asian, who are supporting Trump, must not understand that he does not know that you're not Chinese. To him, you all look the same because there's good people on both sides. Think about that shit. Think about the Filipino guy on the bus who got his nose cut. Think about the young white guy who tried to spray an old Chinese lady and filmed it while he was doing it. Think about the white guy who flung the Chinese man into the garage and killed him. Think about the white guy who flung the Chinese woman into the garage, or the piles of trash that Olivia Munn had to come on and say some shit about. Well, hell, Zeta and I had talked about it, but nobody gave a shit, especially for me. But, you know, Zeta's a little bit more popular than me, and I would love to marry her. But here's the thing. When Olivia Munn came on, people started waking up. Then the white guy who got beat by the Chinese woman with a 2x4 in broad daylight, and he got arrested only to find out that they said he was attacked by black people. He thought the Chinese people did it, so he went after them. See what clusterfuck that is? But see, none of y'all are looking at it that way. And you're not looking at the racist attack of the black man who broke into the Korean store and beat the 2 Korean ladies with a brick. He probably thought they were Chinese, even if the store wrote Korean on it. But some people can't tell one Asian from the other Asian, and I'm guilty of the same shit, but I'm at least honest enough to admit it. Where everyone else is like, ah, sure, right. Really? Really ask yourself, when did this shit really explode? With blacks and Asians and whites and Asians and everybody starting to attack Asians. It didn't happen until Corona became the Chinese virus. Oh, I guess we forgot about SARS, right? Because y'all forgot how bad we treated Asian people when SARS came out. Well, Margaret Cho didn't forget. Severe Asian racist syndrome. Asians got a bad rap when SARS came out. And don't think that I have forgotten, because I remember how bad Asians were getting treated when SARS came out. But this wasn't considered the Chinese virus. This was just considered the bird flu. And then it was changed into SARS. Once it became SARS, it got a little bit less attention to it until Margaret brought it up at one of her comedy specials. Yeah, you suffer from SARS, severe Asian racist syndrome. COVID-19. Once it became the Chinese virus, it became SARS, Severe Asian Racist Syndrome. The attack of Asians was on the rise the second that it became the Chinese virus. The second they pinpointed that shit to Wuhan, China, or wherever part of China it came from, all my Chinese friends became in danger. And I'm not happy that I have to make this video. But I'm not going to turn my blind eye to the fact that Trump is racist. Most of his supporters might not be racist. But are you, though? Because if you're willing to support a racist, how are you not racist yourself? Ask that self of yourself when it comes time to voting again. Now, before I go, because I said it, I'm gonna ride this tail. Biden is not a saint. Why did I vote for Biden? Because again, Andrew Yang dropped out. Elizabeth Warren dropped out. Bernie Sanders dropped out. Pete Buttigieg dropped out. My main vote was for Elizabeth Warren because she has 4% native, the rest is white, and it would have been history making to have someone who has native DNA at that White House and to be female. We would finally have a female president. But nobody looked at it that way. I looked at it that way. That's why I wanted her in. Native American and female. Can't lose. Can't lose. And she will probably be one who, if reminded enough by natives to do some shit for MMIW, those babies that never got the chance to live through in all these Christian rebellion schools, water protectors, help natives out. Let's not forget Standing Rock, shall we? My second vote was Andrew Yang. And I'm sorry that Pete comes in third. But Andrew Yang comes in second because he was Chinese. And it would have been fucking history making with all the Asian hate going on in this world to have a Chinese president. Because it would have been cool as fuck. Asian hate is why he drew out. Because his wife was getting fucking death threats. But I'm pretty sure you guys that support Trump were like, yeah, we got rid of the Chinaman. Fuck y'all. If you thought for a New York minute that getting rid of the Chinaman makes you less racist, it makes you more racist because of the Asian hate that's been going around. But I'm sure you guys don't want to take that into consideration, right? No, it wasn't racist that he was getting racial death threats to his wife, so he dropped out of the campaign. And then we have Pete Buttigieg. Young man, younger than me, gay, openly, and he would have been the president. Those were my top three. Sorry, I don't have nothing against Bernie, but I wasn't going to vote for Bernie. I don't hate Bernie, but I just didn't have anything to he didn't have the appeal that he has for Joy Behar on The View. I really wanted Elizabeth Warren in that house. But when she lost the primary and Andrew Yang and Pete pretty much dropped out before she did, it was a done deal. Then Bernie conceded. So all the votes that were going to those four people went to Biden. So when the election day came, I voted for Biden. Because there was no way in hell I was going to vote for a racist. And I still managed to wind up voting for a racist because, I'll say it, there was a video, there was a live, and Joe overreached. He didn't apologize, and if he did, that got by me, but he literally said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So that sounds pretty fucking racist to me. Am I wrong? Was it not racist? But I voted for him, and he is a racist, which makes me a hypocrite, right? Yes, it does. But I own that shit. I voted for him because that was a racist statement. But it was okay for Trump to make racist statements, right? Like, go back to China. See those two coins now? You see them merging? You see how point of view is everything? You see why I can support you if you're a Trump fan? But I can't support Trump because he's a true racist. I have more racist evidence against Trump than I do against Bernie. Against Biden. Biden has said one racist thing. One. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. But what has Trump done? Should we talk about the Native Americans and the reservations and the goddamn day that he told the Standing Rock natives that if he became the president of the United States of America, that he would not allow Standing Rock to happen? And his bet to outdo Obama Because Obama put that protection order in. 1 second. He put that protection order in and said on his last day in office that he was not going to let Standing Rock happen. Day one of President Trump, the first thing that he did when he got in office was he removed the decree of protection from the president, and Standing Rock exploded. But y'all forgot about that, right? Y'all forgot about that shit. But you know who didn't forget about that? The Standing Rock Sioux, Lakota. You know who's still fighting about that? The Standing Rock, Lakota Sioux are still fighting as we speak. But I'm pretty sure because it's not on the internet or anywhere else, you're not thinking about that shit, right? So now ask yourself, is Echo Fangray Wolf wrong? Because y'all can go find those videos. I'm sure the actress from Divergent can prove to y'all about those videos because she was the first non-native that brought that shit to light. There were very few natives that were famous that was bringing that shit to light. You know, very few, if any, Native Americans were there at Standing Rock. Very, very few. It took a young blonde girl from Divergent to get everyone on board for Standing Rock. But I guess there was good people on both sides. You know. But like I said, if you were supporting Trump because it was fixing your wallet, I'm with you. I support you. Because my wallet, doesn't matter who the fuck is in the presidency, ain't never been fixed. I will say that I'm old enough to remember that when I was working 2 and 3 jobs and Clinton was in office, I had money. I literally had money versus having no money right now. Alright? So think about that shit. Now I'm going to end this video with this. This is a mirror. There's 3 sides to this mirror. If I open it up, there'll be 4 because it has a front and a back. But it has a side. So, in that reference of the coin, this is heads, this is tails. This is support Trump, this is not support Trump. This is your Trump truth, this is my non-Trump truth. This is the truth, which sadly, my videos are a little bit closer to it versus you and yours. Now this, again, is opinion. And you're not going to like my opinion. But see, the thing about me is, I give you 99.9. I say this in damn near every one of my videos. Lying is not going to get me more followers. It's not going to get me more views. It's definitely not going to get me any more likes. So why should I lie? Why would I lie? What does it bring to the table in the long run? Brings nothing. Y'all seen how quickly Hollywood turned against Trump when he started making all this racist rhetoric. But for some reason, all of the racist rhetoric doesn't seem to bother his supporters. Which again, I can support you if you are following him blindly because you need money. I get it. Who doesn't need fucking money? Well, what I can't do is support you when race is ignored. And for everyone who's going to watch this video and say, oh, you keep bringing up the go back to China. Or, why don't you ask China? Yes, I do. Because you can actually go and find that. But I also bring up the Central Park 5. I bring this up for 2 reasons. One, the Central Park 5, I'm part black. That affects me indirectly and directly. Because other black people, including myself, in Virginia, in Charlottesville, have been hemmed up for the serial rapist who was also black. I was not hemmed up for that shit that Jesse Matthews did, but I was hemmed up for the serial rapist who was black and darker than me that worked at Harris Teeter, and he was like 6'5". I'm 5'3". What I look like driving around town raping chicks? Hell, there are chicks that are stronger than me And you think I'm gonna go and try to go one-on-one with some chick so I can get some when she might be able to beat my ass because I'm 5'3" and I don't have a lot of upper body strength? Yeah, I'm a martial artist. But here's the thing about fighting. Fighting works when someone loses. If both of you are good, it's going to be a long time before someone loses. That's something people don't consider. I'm old now. At 48, I do not have time to play games. So when I hit you, I better hurt you real bad and get that shit over with. Or I'm going to suffer when you start beating my ass. You understand the difference? Now, I brought up the video about natives in '93 because I'm part native. And though I do not get a check from any casino in Virginia, but on my connecting journey, that's not while I'm doing that. I'm not doing that so a tribe that has a federal recognized casino can give me a check. I have a friend whose wife gets a check from her casino, from her heritage. I just want my heritage. I don't give a flying fuck about the money, and though I may need it, I'm pretty sure that since I'm Cherokee, I'm not going to get any dime from that because I don't think it's a Cherokee reservation that does it. Plus, I have to prove that I'm from that reservation. It's a lot of work. I just want to prove that I'm part native. Fuck the rest. It's not necessary, but I got to deal with the BIA and Blood Quantum. Made a video about it. You should go check it out. And finally, Trump doesn't say much about white people unless they're uneducated. And he's outwardly admitted that he loves the uneducated. Whether they are black, whether they are white, whether they're Asian, if they are uneducated, y'all are his people. Which goes back to what I said about blindly following him. Because some people are only following him because they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. And I can still be your friend and not support him or his ideals. But I can support you. I can respect you. And I hope that's what you got from this. But if you didn't get it, let me word it so that you can. I can be friends with a Trump supporter. I can support a Trump supporter. But I will never support Trump. I will not vote for this fucker by any means necessary. I don't give a fuck if you come threaten me for votes or any of that other shit, but be forewarned. This is a warning, not an invitation. If you drive all the way across the country or across the city or across the state to look for a fight with me, I will not be held responsible for you never seeing your family again. Because I will hurt you. I am not going to unalive you, but I am going to hurt you in many ways. And you may never walk again. You damn sure won't be able to talk again. And you might not be able to see again, providing that I get a hold of you. Because if I get a hold of you in a fight, there will be mercy, but it will come at your expense. Unless you're a coward and bring a knife or a gun. If you bring a gun, you better shoot me before I find you. If you bring a knife, I'm going to take it from you. Yes, you are probably going to cut me. Hell, you might even stab me. But I'm going to take it from you. And then I'm going to make you wish you were never born. I say this on my videos all the time. Don't bring a weapon to a fight, because if you come across somebody who knows more about that weapon than you do, they're going to do your ass in. Now, let me repeat it one more time. I can be friends with a Trump supporter, but I will never support Trump. I will support you, but only for maybe 3 reasons. One, because your political affiliation with him shouldn't be anything to deal with our friendship. It shouldn't be anything that comes between our friendships because you are left and I am right. I'm actually in the middle, because sometimes the left and the right both make good points. As far as which one will benefit me best, which would be the way that I would generally vote. Yes, there are left and right Democrats, just so that you know. Modern and not modern, I don't know what the fuck you call them. I don't really give a fuck. But when it comes down to this, and especially for black people, because black people, we have a lot of pick-me's. We do. And whether y'all want to admit it or not, some of us are pick-me's. I might even fall into the category of pick-me. But here's the difference maker. I'm not begging you to pick me. You pick me because you choose to, we're good. You don't pick me, we're good. It's the same reason, like I said, when I lost my 66 followers, I'm pretty sure it was because of something I said about Trump. It's not because I lied to y'all. It's just you didn't want to handle the truth. So again, I can be friends with a Trump supporter. but I will never support Trump or his ideology. And if you don't think his ideology or his racist rhetoric was racist, that's a you problem, because you are not paying attention. You're not. And again, for anybody who doesn't hear what I'm saying and think that what he said about telling the Chinese reporter to go ask China, this is you. See no evil and hear no evil. But you're speaking the same evil by supporting that shit. Again, had that been Obama that told that Chinese woman to go ask China, this conversation would still be going on for the next 20 years. Did y'all hear about that time Obama told that Chinese girl to go ask China? But yet y'all let Donald Trump slide with that shit. Same thing with the black people who don't seem to understand that him saying that he wished he could hang the Central Park Five was racist. But he has a fuck ton of black supporters. Some of them in the Black Lives Matter movement. But I'm honest. And that's why people don't like me. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry that I took 51 minutes of your time. But it's my channel. You don't have to watch. But I'm glad that you did. If you made it this far, God bless you. And good night. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Africa #2. Be seeing you.